Thanks for your leadership. Thanks for what you're doing, bringing this great group of Texans and leaders in the state legislature down in South Texas and across the state, so that America can see, and all the people who are watching the news can see, that Texas takes it seriously. Obviously, we are thankful to the Lord Almighty that there's help on the way in January. But Texas has been the state that has stood in the breach. And it is 12, 13, 14 now $billion later. And we've got some work to do in D.C., I got to tell you, to make sure that Texas gets paid back. Because Texas shouldn't have had to do the job. Texas shouldn't have had to do the job that Chris pointed out. The guys at Border Patrol, the guys at ICE, they all wanted to do their job. So let's be very clear why we're here. We're here because the Biden administration, still in office, still in power, still the President of the United States, has utterly refused to do his job to secure the border, purposely, intentionally, and has released millions of people onto the streets of this country, including dangerous criminals, people who are known as suspected terrorists, and as a result, Americans have died, and Americans are dying. That is why President Trump was swept into office. That is why Republicans were given the trifecta in Washington. That is why the legislature is growing here in Texas, and it is now why it is our duty, our job, to get the job done in January. No excuses. I don't want to hear one excuse from any Republican across this great country about why we don't do our job to secure the border of the United States and, yes, deport the millions of people that were released unlawfully and, frankly, purposely into the United States. That's our job, and we ought to do it. One final point I want to make, why I came down here. I've gotten to know Alexis over the last several months. I just want everybody to put in perspective and think that it's mid-late November. It was just 4 months ago that she lost her daughter. Just a little over 4 months ago. And I met Alexis when she came to testify at a House Judiciary Committee hearing. And it was one of the more courageous testimonies I've ever seen and witnessed since I've been in Washington and in politics. And she sat there in front of the House Judiciary Committee and she testified. And some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle wanted to diminish testimony. And then some people who were running campaigns wanted to diminish that Alexis was willing to speak out and speak out about the actual political reality of what this election was about. And I can't say enough what an inspiration she's been, and how much you are truly honoring your daughter by doing what you're doing to stand up, to do what is right for our country. We sat in the back of the House Judiciary Committee room and sat in the back conference room and talked for a while. And we talked about her history, her family's history, coming to follow the law, to not look for handouts, for government to do something, but to come here because that's why migrants want to come here. They come here for the rule of law. They come here so you can achieve the American dream, not to have government walk away from both of those things, the rule of law and making sure that we're not giving out handouts and things that undermine what it means to succeed in this country. We talked about that. And I'm just deeply appreciative of Alexis and her mom for being here today and being here with Dawn. And I'll just close with this. This country is only as good as our respect for its sovereignty and who we are as a people. The Vice President-elect, J.D. Vance, who's a friend of mine, likes to remind people that when people say that America is an idea, that's not enough. We're not just an idea. We're a nation. We're a nation of people, a nation of communities, a nation of laws. And we're brought together to carry out the American dream I was talking about before for our kids and our grandkids. And you can't do that if you undermine our sovereignty as a people. People say, well, just deport the criminals. Hold on a second. We had people in this administration lawlessly dumping people into this country. We have now 51.5 million foreign-born, the highest percentage we've ever had in our country's history. We've got to take a step back and remember that we've got to protect this country and make sure that it will exist for generations to come. And you do that by securing it with physical structures, but also enforcement of the law. We must, just all my colleagues in Washington, as I said before, no excuses. We must pass permanent changes to law. We must make it to where no president can ever do what this president has done in this country. We must reverse the damage of the Biden administration. We must stand up, particularly the Texas delegation, and defend this state along with the great people in the Texas legislature, our great lane commissioner, our governor, our lieutenant governor, and all the great people of this state. It's an honor to serve. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Dawn. God bless you all.